Nomenclature alebo názvoslovie, just basic approach. What you have to learn at the first is the names of some basic elements such as potassium, sodium, magnesium, iron, copper, hydrogen. It is very important to realize that cations of these elements have the same names as their elements, which means that cations of, for example, potassium is also potassium, and cation of sodium is named sodium as well. But it is different with anions. Look at the chart. At first, at the names of the elements: chlorine, fluorine, iodine, hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur. And now, at the anions: chloride, fluoride, iodide, hydride, oxide, sulfide. You can see that a simple anion is named by taking the first part of the element name and adding "ide". Compounds. The basic rule for naming binary compounds is logical. The cation is always named first and the anion is named second. Don't forget that a simple cation takes the name of its element, but a simple anion is formed by adding "ide", like in the following examples: potassium iodide, sodium chloride, calcium oxide, hydrogen bromide, iron 3 oxide. This 3 comes because iron belongs to the group of transition elements, prechodný prvok, with variable oxidation state. Therefore, it is important to specify its charge, iron 3 oxide. The charge of lead olovo, should be also specified, lead 4 chloride. Lead also belongs to the group of transition metals with variable oxidation state. Therefore, lead 4 chloride. Sulfate or sulfide. It is often confusing whether anions containing oxygen can have ending "ate" or "ite", sulfate or sulfide. It is because the atom of sulfur can be in the +6 oxidation state or in the +4 oxidation state. In its higher oxidation state, sulfur has a larger number of oxygens, 4 in SO4 2-, and therefore ends in "ate", sulfate. In its lower oxidation state, sulfur has a smaller number of oxygens, 3 in SO3 2-, and ends in "ite", sulfide. It is the same with nitrite and nitrate, or nitrate and nitrite. Nitrogen's higher oxidation state is NO3- with a larger number of oxygens. It takes ending 8, therefore nitrate, and its lower oxidation state is NO2-. Nitrogen here has a smaller number of oxygens and therefore takes ending "ite", nitrite. Phosphate, PO4 3-, belongs to the most common iron as well as carbonate, CO3 2-. So far, remember just them. Naming compounds that contain polyatomic iron is very similar to naming binary compounds. For example, sodium sulfate, sodium sulfide, potassium nitrate, calcium nitrite, magnesium phosphate, sodium carbonate. Acids. The acid name is formed from the name of its central element with ending ic or os, for example, sulfuric acid or sulfurous acid. The rule: when the NN name ends in ate, for example, in sulfate, the ending ic is added to the main part of the word, like in sulfuric. When the Na name ends in ite, like in sulfide, the ending os is added, like in sulfurous. The same with nitric and nitrous acid. The acid with NO3 minus NN and larger number of oxygens is named nitric, and the acid with NO2 minus NN and smaller number of oxygens is named nitrous. The name of phosphoric acid is based on the same principle. The ending ic is used because its NN name ends in ate, phosphate, so phosphoric. The last acid is hydrochloric, which name follows a different rule because hydrochloric acid doesn't contain oxygen. Therefore, the acid is named with the prefix hydro and the suffix ic, hydrochloric acid, or just hydrogen chloride. So, there is a certain logic of nomenclature system, but there are also things you have to memorize. There are some more examples taken from the textbook, which you probably already know or will recall easily. Potassium chloride, zinc chloride, ammonium chloride, sulfur dioxide, calcium hydroxide, sodium sulfide, copper 2 sulfate, as copper is a transition metal and forms various cations. We must include Roman 2 to specify its charge. The last one, sodium carbonate. A small test is here. For the conclusion, could you now write the formulae of the following compounds? Hydrogen sulfide, sodium sulfide, and copper sulfate. Now you can see the right answers. Hydrogen sulfide, sodium sulfide, copper sulfate. And the other way around. Look at the formulae and name the following compounds. So the first one, copper 2 oxide. The second, sodium hydroxide. And the last one, carbon dioxide. And that's all. Thank you for the attention.